week long, we're exploring Arizona's history and all the unique wonders our state has to offer.
For being one of the newest states in the nation, Arizona's packed with history. I caught up with Arizona's hip historian for a quick lesson on some of our state's highlights. Built in 1897, the Smurth-Waite House is one of the oldest structures in Phoenix, representing the earliest days of the first settlers.
So what you're looking at here in this map is Phoenix 1880s, when there was about 3,500 people here. And so this would have been just kind of what the city looked like, which you can see, Center Street, which we now know is Central.
Marshall Shore, also known as the hip historian, says despite Arizona's limited years of statehood, State 48 is rich in history.
You've got Adeline Gray. Her and her husband were actually going west looking for gold, but they came across and found this tall grass, and because she had grown up in farms, she was like, we found our gold right here. So they built the first luxury mansion in Phoenix that would have been at 7th Street in Mojave.
And also when Arizona garnered national attention for the first time when Winnie Ruth Judd was accused of murdering 2 women in 1931.
For many people, that was the first time they'd heard of Arizona because we were a relatively new state. And so all they heard about was this hatchet woman, this trunk murderess.
However, Shore reminds folks they don't have to look back 100 plus years to find history.
You've also got folks like Glenn Guyette, who a lot of people would say, who is that? If you've ever driven by Mr. Lucky's, if you've driven by My Florist there at 7th Ave and McDowell, he was a sign designer that came in the early 50s and designed a lot of signs that are still standing.
And that's why the hip historian stresses the importance of preserving our history for future generations.
You have so much history to choose from here. And that's one thing I've been talking to even like interior designers. How do you infuse more of that history that you might not have to explain to people, but it's just there so that they may not even be aware of it. Maybe someday they'll realize, oh, that's why the table was copper.
He had so much great information. I'm sure we could have ran segment after segment with him. The hip historian offers Arizona History Happy Hour weekly. Follow him at hip_historian on Instagram for those details.
That sounds like a good happy hour.
Yes, it does. Grab a drink and let's go. So be sure to join us all week long as we go in depth, exploring Arizona's history and all the unique wonders our state has to offer. You can also find all of our historic Arizona stories on ABC15.com/in-depth.